Okay, so we're going to start the second part of today's lesson by using the vertical algorithm for 2 by 2 digit multiplication. I've written my learning intention up the top. I have my date over here, and this is the equation that we're going to be solving together. When you're doing 2 by 2 digit multiplication or 2 by 3 digit or 2 by 4 digit, it's really important that you get the setup right, because if you set it up from the very beginning, then you're unlikely to forget important steps. So you write your multiplication like this, but then it's really important you have one row blank, then you put a 0 in the units column on the second row, and then you draw a line, and your final answer will end up here. Okay, so, and this will become an addition in a moment, but we'll talk about that one in a minute. So the first step is we are multiplying this number just as we would have before. So we're going to actually ignore the 5 and pretend it's not even there. All right, so our first step is going 3 times 2. Remember, we're ignoring the 5 like it's not there. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, so we have now finished with the 3, and now we can pretend that the 3 isn't there. So use your best imagination. If you want to put a little piece of paper over it so you don't get confused, you can do that to begin with. And now we've got to deal with the 5. So we're going to do exactly the same with the 5, but this time we're going to start writing our answers here. That's because the first number that we're multiplying this time is actually a 10. It's 5 tens. All right, so there's no point in writing our answer to that in the units column. We're going to start writing our answer to that in the tens column. So 5 times 2 is 10. So I'm going to put down the 1, and I'm going to put down the 0 here. And then we're going to do 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. So that's the answer. So basically I've done 2 multiplications. I've done one with the 3, went to the 2 and then to the 4. Then I ignored the 3 and I did the 5 to the 2 and 5 to the 4. All right, so now we're going to find our answer by doing an addition. So we're going to add this to this. So we're going to go 6 plus 0 is 6. 2 plus 0 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. And 2 and nothing is 2. So that is our final answer, 2,226. I'm going to show you another few examples of how to do 2 by 2 digit multiplication. So get ready. If you think that you can do it already by yourself, then I'm going to write the multiplication out first. You can pause the video and try and answer it, and then press play to see me solve. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through the solution to our second multiplication problem here. What I want you to do is if you're feeling quite confident or you want to have a go, write this down now, press pause and have a go at solving it, and then come back and watch me solve it and see how you went. You might even just do the first 2 steps or just the first step if you like. So I've set my multiplication up as I should, but I've forgotten something. Can you remember what I have forgotten to write? If you said the 0 in the ones place right here, you would be correct. So make sure before you have a go, you've got it all set up ready to go like that so you don't forget any of the steps. All right, so my first step now is to go 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. And then I'm going to go 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Oh, no regrouping, that's lovely. Okay, so now I'm going to ignore the 2 and I'm just going to focus on the 6, and the 6 is going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to say hi to the 4, then it's going to say hi to the 3, and we're going to write the answers down here. All right, so 6 times 4 is 24, regrouping this time. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20. Right, so now my next step, remember, is to add these 2 numbers together to get my final answer here. So 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 4 is 10. So I need to, just like a normal addition, I need to put my 1 there and my 0 here. 1 and 0 is 1. And 2 and nothing is 2. So that's my answer, 2,000. 108. Okay, here's my next equation that I'm going to solve. Once again, I've set it out right. One thing that people always forget to do, and I do as well, is putting down that magic zero. So I'm going to do that right now before I forget. If you've forgotten, make sure that you do that right now before you forget. So I'm going to solve it now. So 7 times 8, remember I start with this number, the ones, always start with the ones. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 5 is 26. All right, so the next step, remember I ignore the 7 and I do exactly the same thing with the 4. So I'll go 4 times 8 and then go 4 times 3. So let's go 4 times 8 is 32. So the important thing here is that I don't get confused with the numbers that I'm carrying now. So you might even want to erase the number from before or use 2 different colors if you want to. Whatever works for you, especially while you're learning, because it is very easy to get confused. Do I add the 5 or do I add the 3? Which one's from which? So make sure you're keeping track of that somehow in a way that works for you. So I just went 4 times 8 equals 32. Now I'm going to go 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 3 is 15. So the next step, can you remember what I do? That's right, I add these columns together. So, sorry, these rows together. 6 plus 0 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 2 and 5 is 7. And 1 and nothing is 1. So that is my answer, 1,786. So this next multiplication is a little bit harder because it's now got 3 digits by 2 digits. And I know that's not what our success criteria says. But I figure if you're going really well with this already, you might be ready to try something like this. It's exactly the same process. Once again, we put down that 0 and we set our work out like this. So we're going to focus on the 5 first of all. So we're going to go 5 times 4, then we're going to go 5 times 3 and 5 times 5, just like we would with 3 by 1 digit multiplication that we did earlier today. So let's try that now. 5 multiplied by 4 is 20. 5 multiplied by 3 is 15, plus 2, 17. 5 multiplied by 5 is 25, plus 1 is 26. So I've got my special 0 down here. And now I'm going to ignore the 5 and I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the 2. So I'll go 2 times 4, 2 times 3, 2 times 5. Let's see how we go. 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. And 2 multiplied by 5 is 10. Now remember, these numbers here I didn't add on because they're actually from when we multiplied the 5 before. So we don't need to worry about these two because we've already used them for this row here. All right, so now remember our final step is to add these 2 answers together to get our final answer. So 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 8 is 15. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 2 plus 0 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And 1 and nothing is 1. So our answer is 13,350.